Greetings, Vault Hunters all across the 6 galaxies. Welcome to the Bordercast. We are live at our usual time, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. I'm Mitsu.
And I'm Tessica, coming to you every week to break down all things Borderlands.
As always, we want to take a minute to thank all of our new listeners on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and those watching on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Steam, or later on the VOD on YouTube. And if you are enjoying the program, we would love for you to give us a big ol' like, follow, or favorite, and maybe, just maybe, I will do a whole episode of the Bordercast as Typhon DeLeon. Although I cannot actually guarantee whether or not I will not break character at some points during that show, or that show might actually happen. Sorry, everybody. I don't want to get your hopes up too much, but that's kind of what I want to do. Triple G, you're here. Hi.
Hi, friend.
Good afternoon or good morning or wherever you are. How is everybody?
Doing well. I love that beautiful AMD computer in your background. It's so lovely. It
is very beautiful. Although it does make me a bit warm, but I can get over that. It's always cold in England, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's winter and yeah.
What is that silver thing standing next to it? Or I should say resting next to it, by the way.
This is my Maggie. It's my girl.
So cool. Just to know, it is a prop. It is just a prop. It is not real. Absolutely a prop.
Completely a prop.
A beautiful prop.
So I still don't know who sent me this, but I will thank them anonymously again, and it will be painted accurately in the purple and blue and black that it should be, and then it will take pride just behind me. So it's a project for Triple J.
So cool.
What an amazing, cool prop to have sent to you like that. Even anonymously too. That's crazy.
Yeah. Everybody has a cool, like, Borderlands weapon. Mitsu has the Buzz Axe. Triple, of course, now has the Maggie. K6, you guys were saying, has one of the guns also in the pre-show, I think? Or somebody has?
Yes, he has the Unkempt Harold.
Yeah. I want, I know Mystique Siren also has the Molly one gun that Borderlands put out, like the physical, So,
I mean, you 100% should have the Psycho Stabber, right? You do like to stab things.
Yes, that's true. I kind of want like the Cutsman or maybe the Flipper. Probably the Cutsman just because SMG and it's also stabby. So if I had a choice, that would be what I want. But yeah, either way, I mean, I just think it's cool. I think it's really cool. Yeah, Liz has the pistol also, the Molly 1 pistol. That's a good point. Somebody in chat just pointed out. So cool.
They were doing a big giveaway of that. There was, I think they distributed 100 of them.
Yeah.
For crazies.
So I'm a doofus and I totally should have entered, but like I always feel bad entering giveaways as an influencer or whatever content creator, just because I feel like we already get a lot of things, and like giveaways I feel like are usually for everybody else, that might not have a chance to get such a thing, and so I just never enter them, and I feel bad because like a bunch of content creators got them, and I was like, anyway, when I can buy one, I will.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I felt the exact same way, and it was like, wait, there aren't any legalities that say that I can't enter it. Maybe I should have entered it the whole time. I
couldn't enter it as the postal service didn't go across the channel. So.
Oh no! Well, you got the really cool Maggie instead, which is so awesome.
Heck you and your Mano gun that no one will ever use.
Except during arms race.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, have you? Oh, we'll get into that, I suppose. But all right, let's see. Let's get all the usual out of the way. Designers to Cut is out right now. It is wonderful. Arms race has been a lot of fun, and I finally this past week, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Took all of my arms race gear and started using it in the actual game, and I did something I've never done before. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Everybody's like, but that's not big news. And I'm like, yeah, it is for me because I'm bad at video games. Borderlands 3 is out on PS5 and Xbox Series X, and they're wonderful, especially if you use performance mode, because you're going to get that buttery smooth 120 FPS on TVs and monitors. Of course, I can support it. Crossplay is coming sometime next year. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's earlier rather than later, but they have committed to it happening, so it's going to happen. Tessa's favorite thing in the entire world, Bunkers and Badasses, the tabletop adventure that was covered on IGN, we talked about that last week, is also happening, and there's a new event that we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Cool.
But before we get there, it's time for this past week. And we'll start, of course, with our guest. Triple G, what were you doing this past week in Borderlands?
Falling off platforms in the Guardian takedown. is what I've been doing the most of, probably, or exploding myself with barrels, or dying to some of the stupidest things that I've probably done in Borderlands, doing Endgame Rush. So I kind of split the stream most of the time. So we did 2 hours of intense. We're going to run. We're going to be as fast as we can. And then chat would laugh at me. And then the second part of the stream is I've got no strength left. So let's just play arms race and chill.
So you've got no strength left. Let's do some of the really challenging stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was pretty cool. I was on the leaderboard, and I was pretty cool with it. But Psychotic Wolf knocked me off the leaderboard. Now, there is a highly confidential video that Triple J took of me while I was off stream doing the challenge, where I beat Psychotic Wolf, and it is completely censored and classified because no one can ever see it. But let's just say I was pretty pleased when I beat him, and the neighbors would have heard me too.
Dang! Did you like set off fireworks? Were you celebrating?
I was very pleased with myself.
Oh my god!
Very pleased with myself.
He's gonna see this later and be mad at you.
Oh, no, I've sent it him. He was pissing his pants.
I have definitely completed a few like one life things and arms race things, especially, and gone, yes, like really loud. And then I'm like, oh God, my poor
I have neighbors. Oops.
Yeah. It's bad. It's hilarious, but you know.
So you were playing Guardian Takedown, right?
Yeah.
All right. I tried Guardian Takedown the other day for the first time in quite a while. And let me guess, the endless like cavalcade of guardians rising out from the place you have to jump down right before Anathema.
Mm-hmm.
That was where you were just falling off platforms because they kept knocking you off.
So I probably failed that set of platforms more than any other platforms. So with the introduction of M11, I'd kind of stopped using M10 completely, and I wasn't used to Speed Demon again. So what would happen is I'd get either knocked off completely, and I'd like go into Muttley mode and shake off, and then save and quit, or I would clutch it, and then because I was still charged up from Speed Demon, I would mantle and then just go woof, straight off the other side of the platform and fall anyway. So I was not happy with that.
I would be very furious. When I was playing on Mayhem 10 with Speed Demon, it makes it so easy to just like basically dunk yourself in there when you're playing as Zane, because you can honestly skip the entire platforming segment because gravity is so low. You could just like flush and
you would be disqualified.
Would you actually?
Yeah.
Real? Oh,
No
I guess
skips.
because it's a skip.
Yeah. Platforms are there for reasons.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. I just figured that was just programmed, like you were just able to do that for funsies.
It's so funny to me because like most of the time the platforms are not, it's only when I'm like really not paying attention that the platforms are a problem. Like they make me hold my breath a little bit when they vanish, which I'm not really normally scared of heights, but he's really high and there's like no real bottom below you. So it definitely like takes your breath away a little bit, but also like the actual jumping is not hard if you just kind of aim and jump, you know what I mean?
No.
It doesn't require like super tricky like run and jump too much or anything like that, but it's definitely tricky when they're moving and and you're like nervous or you're already in a hurry. Like if you're already in a heightened state and you're trying to complete stuff like this, it's a little.
The thing is about the platforms just before the halfway stage after the first crystals is that I feel like Gearbox looked at that and went, these platforms aren't that difficult. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our most annoying enemies and we're going to get them to just headbutt you off like at like every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's just real frustrating. Or do what I did and be on like my absolute fastest time ever. And then on the easiest platforms after the second crystals, look at chat as I've jumped and then just fall down as I'm not looking at my screen. So chat took at least 94% of the blame for that.
I think that's an important distinction to make is that Gearbox put those enemies there just to be annoying like that. And they did give you a bottom to fall on. It's not like they put those enemies in a place where if you fell, you're dead and then you had to restart. But it doesn't make it any less annoying because I think I spent maybe 10, 15 minutes on that segment when I was playing the other day, just getting exactly what you said. headbutt it off. And the enemies felt endless until I got there. And that's just kind of annoying at that point. Like, platforming elements are hard enough on their own, especially for a lot of people. Not everybody played Super Mario growing up.
So pro tip, there's 2 badass enemies. If you do fall down, there are 2 badass enemies that are in the center of those mobbing sections. You kill those 2 badass enemies and the jet propulsion will fire off and you don't have to kill the rest. But if you don't kill those badass enemies, people will keep spawning around them.
Really? I have to find them. I thought I killed everything.
That's the key. Okay. See, I always try to jump and just kind of like ignore them, and they like probably 90% of the time they'll knock me off, and then I'm like, fine, I'll kill you all. And then I just kill them all, and it's great. It's fine. I'm sorry, your beautiful computer is very distracting. It's all pretty and pulsy behind you. I love it. I love it. Oh my God. AMD. Is it running? I'm assuming it's running beautifully for you with Borderlands and stuff.
Yes, yeah. It's all been good so far.
Very cool.
I do like the door though. I've never had a PC that actually has a door.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
Oh, yours is hinged. Like oh, that's cool.
Look at that.
So awesome.
My 2, one is Rob's, but our 2 Corsair cases are like that. But the Zydex one I have is little screws. They're really easy to move in and out, so it's not a problem. But yeah, I just like.
It's not like the old days where it's a production to try and take apart a computer, right?
Oh God, yes. Yeah. I still have some of those old cases. Good Lord.
But I just wanted to soup up my Packard Bell. There, I'm showing my age a little bit with that one.
Oh man.
Tess, what were you doing this past week?
I've been playing a little bit off stream. I've been playing a little bit on stream. I did some takedowns. I did some arms race. I usually tend to start with arms race, like when I'm streaming, just because I want to give people good loot. So I feel like it's part of my job. I really like the EchoCast extension event that happens when you extract loot, where you basically are doing it's kind of like a rare chest event. People like if let's say I extract a plasma coil, which I am still chasing a good plasma coil. But I do get a lot of Dark Harmonies and a lot of Tizzies and a lot of various things. And anyway, when I extract those things, the viewers have a chance to like participate in the lottery and maybe win one of those things, and it's really cool. It's been good. I've been playing on my new AMD rig, which I also got recently. I didn't get a whole computer because they've sent me computers before and they're amazing. They sent me the 6800 XT and the 5800X processor. So, and a really nice motherboard from ASRock, the X570 Taichi, which is really cool because it has this like crazy, like steampunky gear thing for the cooling unit for the SSDs in the PCIe area. It's really neat. I need to take like a lot more pictures of it. It's really hard to photograph things with LEDs. I need to like
get a good photo. Yeah.
There's like I was going to actually message you, Tess, to ask you this. There's like this. You might not see it. There's like a red light here. It's like got a power symbol and then a counter that counts down. I have no idea what it is. I don't want to press the power button. I feel like it might blow up if I do.
Wait, is that on the GPU?
No, it's underneath the GPU. But like, so now it's on 41 and it will count down. It's never got to 0.
Is it on the motherboard?
Yeah. I'll take a picture and send it you.
Yeah.
Like, it scares me. It's like that little red button on Men in Black. You just don't press that little red button.
That's so interesting. I don't know. I don't remember which motherboard you have. You told me, but I don't remember because I'm doofus. But yeah.
That stuff plugs into.
Send me a picture because I'm super curious. That's really cool. But yeah, I don't know. I like that they put all these cool little like features on all the tech these days. Is really nice. I like it.
They've got to appeal to their market somehow, and they know how much people love to customize everything.
Yes.
Corsair's out there, and they're selling literal LED strips that you can just plaster onto things now.
Yeah.
You just LED everything, and of course control that through their IQ system.
Yeah, which is really nice. It is really nice. I have way too much LEDs. stuff. And I basically have every single one of their types of fans. They have like LL fans and QL fans and ML fans. Trying to figure out which is kind of hard, like in all the various systems. But yeah, they make good stuff. I got one of their newer coolers. I bought it myself just to put in this system because I played musical chairs with all the computers when I got these parts because like if I upgrade, then I might as well upgrade the other computers, right? So it was kind of insane. But anyway, I bought this new cooler and it's like the whole face of it is LEDs. So like it's not just like one LED with like the symbol of Corsair, it's the symbol and then the entire thing is LEDs. So like it's just a big block of really pretty colors. It's neat. Also, it runs Borderlands so well. Oh my God, it's insane. I was able to turn on the fidelity sharpening, so it makes details and things like that super poppy and just like.
Did you not have that on beforehand?
I didn't have that on before. Goodness. Yeah. Right.
One thing that I noticed, and then I'll get into what I was doing is. Before, when you're playing Borderlands, and this is a little thing, but it's so telling, so you would appreciate this especially. When you're in Sanctuary and you're first in and you're walking through, if you look when you're just playing on any other graphics card, or if you don't have fidelity sharpening turned on, it's very flat. There's no light reflection or anything like that. But when you turn on high fidelity scaling, you see that there are tiny little like bumps and ridges in the floor. The lighting actually does reflect off of the floor from above down below. It's a little change, but it looks so much better when you turn that on. And you'll see it. You like play around with it later this evening and let me know what you think of it, because it was like night and day again. And there are other games that I've also turned on high fidelity scaling for, and it's just so much fun.
It's a similar experience. So we run the new gen Xbox on the Borderlands channel.
Oh yeah,
to show load times and stuff like that. And the one thing that was really noticeable, like the volumetric fog and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's a part where everyone has to talk to Lilith. Like you walk down, and there's like a light section that just comes over this steam section, and you can just see the steam and the light reflecting through the steam. It didn't exist on console previously, because I went back on my PS4 and checked, and like you walk through now and the load times and the graphics. I just paid £250 for the cheapest Xbox, and you just get everything. Just crank it up like you're on Ultra. That's amazing. So
cool. That Xbox runs on AMD, by the way, as does the new PS5, as do the previous systems too. And it's really, 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 really cool. There's actually an AMD event happening a little bit later today. Late tonight, I will be streaming on the AMD channel, talking about the new tech and streaming some games and stuff. So anyway, that's later today at like 9 p.m. Eastern. And they're really sort of moving up in the world in the sense that like they've just sort of taken on the challenge of NVIDIA and just like come to meet it, and it's really cool. It's really cool to see good competition, because the result of it is just eye candy for all of us, right? Whether you play on console or PC, whether you choose AMD or you choose NVIDIA. My opinion, AMD is pretty amazing, just saying. But anyway, either way, it's just really nice because we get such good, good graphics, good experiences out of it. And it's amazing to see AMD kind of like meet that challenge.
Of course. Speaking of good experiences, you know how good of an experience it is to take a plasma coil and finish for the first time ever your first ever solo true takedown run? I did it. I did it.
Nice.
I made it happen. It only took way later than everybody else, and probably one of the most overpowered guns in the entire game right now without being incredibly game breaking. But I did it. The plasma coil is just so much fun to use.
Yeah.
I like, and I have a consecutive hits one. I'm still looking for a URAD one. I have an ASE 200%, or is it ASA or ASE for 200% splash?
I think it's ASA.
ASE for
it is ASE. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to use it on Moe's yet, but I know that as soon as I do, it's going to be like a warpath, because she like obviously with splash damage, specifically her, she excels really well at that. So I'm looking forward to that. But just in general, like, and the Tizzy, I got to use the Tizzy. The Tizzy is super strong, but chews through ammo. I hear infinite Moes can do a lot of work with that, though. So it's something I'm going to be looking into. Everything comes back to Moes, it seems. Even though Zane's dominating the leaderboards in your event, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, too. Because I definitely want to hear your thoughts as to why. But we'll save that for a little bit later. Yeah, it's just nice to be able to do all of this cool content now, finally. Even though I did kind of had to like it's not cheesy, but it feels a little cheesy because it's like, oh, I had to wait until the best gun ever came out, but I made it work. Yay. But it's not as bad as like pimp habbing. We're not going back to the old days where that was the case. So I don't feel
what you need really is some kind of repeatable show that showcases all these amazing builds that you could then just pick up at any time and then use in the Guardian takedown.
That sounds like an amazing idea for a show. What would you even call something like that?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We'll call it Triple G's Vault Hunter.
I'll make sure to write up that proposal right away. It's not the worst idea, all things considered, but I feel like we might have a show that's a little along that line as well.
Yeah. Yes, there's a new episode of it next week. If you guys are chilling with your families and you want something fun to watch on the screens, or if you're at home quarantining and being safe, hopefully everybody's going to be and is doing that now, yesterday, tomorrow, for Christmas, all the times until everybody's vaccinated. Yeah, you can watch Ultimate Vault Hunter next Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. It's going to be a good one.
Here in the Northeast, we're basically forced into quarantine right now because there's a big ass snowstorm that just happened.
Oh yeah. I think I saw, maybe it was on Twitter. I don't remember. I've been on Twitter a lot the last couple of days. Pictures of Times Square and the snow, and it was just like, it's like a different world. It's really cool. Really cool to see.
I'm very happy. I'm going to get my White Christmas. And I found out the other day, and we don't have any material on it right now, and I'm kind of sad about that, but hopefully the deals are still going through New Year's Eve, and we'll talk more about that later too. There is an ugly Borderlands Christmas sweater, and I want it.
Yes. Oh my God.
I want it very badly. It is actually beautiful. It is a yellow and orange theme with black as well, so it covers all of the Borderlands colors and notes that you would typically think and expect to have on a sweater like that, and I want it very badly because it's beautiful.
I need this in my life. Yes.
Yeah. So there is a new event that they just launched, or I should say it's the return of an event, rather. The co-op loot drop has finally come back. As they like to say, those who slay together get paid together. With that in mind, they are bringing back the co-op loot drop event from now until January 21st at 8:59 a.m. Pacific time. All badass enemies will drop more loot when you are playing co-op and online multiplayer and or local split screen, which is what I'm very excited for. Plus, the more people you play with, the more loot that drops, making it the perfect time to boot up that new 4-player split screen for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X/S. This effect applies to all badass enemies in the game, including ones that you might encounter during Moxie's Heights of the Handsome Jackpot, Guns, Love, and Tentacles, The Marriage of Wainwright and Hammerlock, Bounty of Blood, and Psycho Krieg and the Fantastic Fustercluck. And this one excites me a lot, even Arms Race from the designer's cut, albeit at a slightly lower bonus rate for balance purposes, thus making Arms Race perhaps easier to beat for those of us who are still struggling with it every now and again. Or if you're playing with a new group of Vault Hunters that are freshly minted, this event is a great way to gear up quickly. Meanwhile, more seasoned slayers can take advantage of the boosted co-op rewards system in challenging endgame content, such as Takedown at Molly 1 Black Site, which we talked about a little bit earlier, and of course the Takedown and Guardian Breach, which we also discussed a little bit earlier. Whether you're quarantined with pals or socially distant gaming, the co-op loot drop event offers quality bonding time with a multitude of mayhem-filled moments. Somebody at 2K loves alliteration, and I love that person for it. Show those badass enemies who's boss and reap the extra rewards before this event ends on January 1st, 2021.
That's so cool. I just love so much that like Gearbox and 2K and Borderlands in general just encourages people to hang out and have fun together, especially right now with this crazy year. and everything that's happened. I'm just so happy to see it like coming to an end with all of these positive activities and all of these things that we can do safely at home. And it's just really, really nice to see Borderlands like encourage that. Plus, it's just really fun to play with your friends. So.
It is. It's a wonderful event. The one thing I'm looking forward to the most is, assuming I'll ever be able to find one of the new consoles, and I've talked about this, is I want to have my friends come over and we want to play Borderlands together, obviously. And this would be a great way for them to get those guns that they want as fast as possible. Or I can be like, oh, we should go farm this one real quick because you're playing this character, so you want this for this build, and you do that. And then that gets them more into the game. And the loot, I mean, loot distribution was already pretty good as it was, but there are times when you can encounter some dry spells, and it's nice to have an opportunity to really get as many people geared up as fast as possible. We talk a lot about how Endgame is really the focus that we're looking at right now, but I understand, of course, wanting to go along those lines, but at the same time, it's also nice to know that people who aren't there yet are being lifted up so that they can get on level with us as fast as possible, so that they can enjoy what we are currently enjoying too.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have like a low barrier to entry kind of activity that's still a high level of difficulty and challenge activity potentially. Because it gets people playing immediately. It makes everything that they're doing and everything that they're using, all of the awesome guns, feel meaningful because they are meaningful, especially in that mode. And it just makes the rest of the game even better to play. And it's just a wonderful, like if you are starting a new character, if you're doing a one life, which I know DePriesticles does this all the time, and I've started doing it too in my one lives. When I run them, it's basically just jumping into arms race, using that to gear up, and then jumping out of arms race, playing the base game until you kind of feel like you've out-leveled your guns, and then jumping back into arms race. Of course, it's always risky if you're doing one life, but if you're a new player, if you're trying to introduce family and friends to the Borderlands universe, so to speak, you can absolutely do that with arms race, and it's a wonderful experience to do together, which is really cool.
Indeed. I look forward to doing it. I'm sure a lot of you out there will as well. However, the co-op event wasn't the only thing that happened to go live in the past 24 hours, was it, Tess?
No, we happen to have some hot fixes that were applied.
Called Hotfix Applied. There it is.
So today, right now, basically, as we are speaking, this hotfix has been applied. It was launched at 12 p.m. Eastern, which is when we start the show every Thursday, usually. They're activating the co-op loot drop event as part of the hotfix and addressing some reported concerns, adjusting various DLC weapons. These changes are live right now on various platforms.
Sit around all day.
That's the wrong button. That is the real wrong button. I went to cough and press mute and press my other button completely.
I was like, was that me? I'm so confused.
I was like, what's playing?
That was a news break-in, I guess.
Usually that happens because I have like 500 gazillion tabs open and one of them starts playing audio and I'm like, where is it? It's fine. It happens.
Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, thank you. So if you're experiencing any issues, just a reminder with Borderlands 3, just make sure you submit a ticket to support.2k.com. This is also a good place to provide any feedback that you have if you want to see any changes or anything like that. Support.2k.com is the place to go. Every single message gets read. Every single thing that can be implemented, that can be fixed, is being worked on. Just please know that. Like sometimes these things take a little bit longer. Sometimes they're a lot more complicated than they may appear. A simple fix is not always so simple when it comes to any code. One thing I've learned with programming my keyboards, because I play on this crazy thing and it requires some programming. Sometimes you think something is really, really simple, and it's actually really not. So just something to keep in mind. The devs are incredible for this game, and they work so hard on it, and they're always trying to improve things. So if you have feedback, if you run into an issue, the best way for them to fix it is for you to let them know so that they can repeat it and figure out why whatever issue is happening, and then get it fixed, right? So anyway, the hotfixes, they activate the co-op loot drop mini event. Also, they blocked a hole in the floor in Valhalla that was sometimes causing players to fall through the map. Speaking of fixes, prevented players from using heavyweight Harker's mount to enter the boss's bubble shields in Arms Race. These are some changes that we really are happy to see in Arms Race because it was definitely a glitch that was happening. And is now
fixed. Would you even do that?
I hadn't seen it.
I think I've seen it on somebody's stream or maybe on like a clip that was tweeted at one point, but it's fixed now, which is awesome.
Sure.
Yeah. Addressed a concern that the singularity grenade would sometimes cause heavyweight Harker to fall through the map in Arms Race. Maybe it was that one that I saw in Arms Race. I saw one of these. I'm not sure. I think I saw the mount entering the boss's bubble one, but either way, they're both fixed now, which is really cool. And there were also, besides the fixes, some weapon adjustments. Some really lovely weapon adjustments. Pretty much, I think every single one of these were buffs.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so slow hand, increased weapon damage, increased healing percentage of damage dealt. Cheap tips, increased the amount and drop chance of casino chips. Creamer, increased weapon damage, increased healing percentage of damage dealt. Ember's Purge, increased the damage dealt by the pool of lava it spawns. Heartbreaker, increased weapon damage, increased healing percentage of damage dealt. Boomer, increased weapon damage. Lucky 7, increased the chance to get bonus effects after reloading. Scoville, reduced ammo consumption from 4 to 2. It sounds like they reduced something, but they reduced ammo consumption, so this is also a buff, which is fantastic. Auto aim, increased weapon damage. Ion laser, increased weapon damage. All the buffs. Soul render, increased the amount of damage from spawned skulls. Flamadiddle, increased weapon damage. Hydrofrost, increased weapon damage, increased shock or incendiary damage duration, added fire projectiles to each buff. Insider, surprise, surprise, increased weapon damage. Love Drill, increased the chance for bonus shock damage. Little Yeety, which is the best name ever in the world, increased weapon damage. And Clairvoyance, you guessed it, increased weapon damage. These are some pretty awesome buffs for a lot of awesome guns. I'm going to put the link to these hotfixes in the chat right now in case you missed them, and they will also be in the podcast description.
Of course. Triple G, what are you thinking about all this?
Excuse me. So I thought, I mean, buffs are buffs, which are great, but the actual buffs to the health were interesting for me. So if you think about that on their own, some of these weapons were weapons that already had health buffs. I think they're like 3.5% or something like that to start with, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're constantly doing damage, that's a decent amount of health regen. But they've buffed those further. Now, on their own, they probably wouldn't be like, you probably wouldn't bat an eyelid at them. But if you think about the items that are in Arms Race right now, some of the things that just kind of look out of place, like the Clockwork Res, and a couple of the artifacts, which are about fight for your life, damage and things like that. I think that these are directly linked to what's coming in Season Pass 2, because like we already know it's going to be endgame focused, which means it's going to be difficult. And then suddenly there are these items that are appearing that are ways to give you a utility to heal in this instance, or to be have more damage when you have been revived. So I feel like these are hints. I feel like these are hints.
Hints to what specifically?
This is pure speculation, by the way, but I love where your brain is going.
Yeah, so if it's difficult, if we think of traditional Borderlands 2 stuff like raid bosses or bunkers and badasses, that kind of thing, those things are cranked up in terms of difficulty. When you think about Endgame, you're thinking about cranked up in difficulty. So what better way than just to throw some things at you? So take, for example, take Flat, for example. He just had a new skill tree that is a purple skill tree that's all about shields. Now, a lot of people, you either go down the green tree for you heal yourself, or the purple tree and you heal your shields. But what about now if you can use the shield tree and then use one of the new weapons like the slow hand to give you health regen at all? Suddenly you don't have to spec in that type of way. to cover that health regen. You can just use the actual gun itself to heal. A little bit like Moxie's SMGs in Borderlands 2, where crits would heal you. So you wouldn't necessarily need as much healing in your tree. So it's just giving you those options so you could actually technically save points by slotting a weapon instead.
I don't know. You're bringing up like a fair point, but I feel like you're alluding to something here, and it's almost like your interpretation of the way that they're going about doing this is it's a very end game focused kind of situation where you think that the future of the game is perhaps leaning a little bit more towards what end game content there is and what end game content could be coming in the director's cut. Is that what I'm interpreting?
Yeah, so I'm guessing.
Right. It's a theory.
Yeah. So if you looked at arms race weapons and items on its own, you get things that I'm sure I'm not the only person that was like, I really wish I could have used these items in arms race, like the Clockwork Res reviving a teammate, basically the Maya gun, and like having more damage when you go into fight for your life. You go into fight for your life quite often in arms race. So I felt like, well, this arms race feels like endgame content, and these feel like stuff I want to use in endgame, but I can't use them here. So if I can't use them here, and in my opinion, they're geared for endgame content, where am I going to use them? So I just feel like whatever's coming next will be hard. And they're giving us the tools to say whether you're a solo player or you've got a kind of a co-op team together, you're going to be able to overcome those challenges.
That is an extremely insightful way to look at it. I was going to say, because it's so subtle. It's so subtle, but one thing that I definitely agree with is patterns. And basically what you're trying to tell me here is you're seeing a pattern in weapon development here. And that pattern seems to just be indicating you towards what might be coming next as a result of what they're setting up now.
I think so.
Okay.
We can date and time the clip the video and then see if I'm right.
Sometime next year we'll be able to bring this back up.
And if I'm wrong, just delete the VOD.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Again, pure speculation, but really interesting possibilities and predictions from Triple G. I'm really curious now because I hadn't really thought about it. I kind of thought the Clockwork Res was more for like the current takedowns and stuff like that. But that makes a lot more sense that it's kind of preparing us for things in the future. So who knows? Detective G, I like it.
Oh, I love that show. Detective G. That ran alongside Inspector Gadget. That was a great show.
So good. So good.
What? Did you not know? Oh, okay. Never mind. You're across the pond, I guess.
I was going to say, like, is this an actual show? Like,
No. Next, we're going to reference Inspector Space Time. What the Doctor Who spoof was in Borderlands 2. I can't remember what it was. The one in Tiny Tina's.
Oh, God.
What did she call it? She called it something. But it was basically like a very thinly veiled Doctor Who reference, and Torg couldn't answer it because I don't think Torg actually watched that show.
Somebody in chat will help us, I believe.
Yes, somebody in chat will help. Yes, because actually we talked about this a few weeks ago, I think, on the show as well, and I've already forgotten it because I'm memory like a, a strainer basically,
or a fish. Yeah, mine is definitely like a fish. I forget. Yes. Like I remember something or I think of something and I know it, but then the second I actually need it.
It's gone. Anyway, there is, speaking of legendaries, a free legendary Atlas pistol being given out right now via a shift code for everybody to appreciate. It's called the multi-tap, and it is available now to be obtained via a very special shift code. I would read that out, but I feel like that would probably just be ridiculous. So check the description. Of course, check Borderlands official Twitter @Borderlands if you would like to see it, because that's where it was first posted over there.
I also just put it in chat.
I'm sure. Yes, and Tess will, of course, put that in chat, as well as a little bit more stocking stuffers for those of you who might have missed out. If you missed out on last year's Mercenary Day skins, they're being distributed once again until December 31st. And of course, that code will be forthcoming in chat as well. The Mercenary Day skins are really cool, and what's nice is now we have the new models for all 4 characters. So I kind of want to see what those skins look like with the new models.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Actually,
Stamp's always going to be number 1.
Of course.
Yeah, my favorite coloration for everything, like the actual skin, is the Bad Astra one that you get from completing the Guardian takedown. That like
Is that because it's blue?
Well, I mean, I don't know how you could guess that I like the color blue. I don't know where you get this crazy idea. I'm sorry. Yeah. For anybody listening, my entire outfit is blue today. I'm wearing a sort of Christmassy run top, and my hair is blue, and my background is blue, and blue is my favorite color. So anyway, Bad Astra is very spacey. It's kind of like a purpley blue, and there's like moving kind of starry sky effects, both on your character and on your. I think the Echo skin is called something else, cosmic something or other. I always forget the name because it's not called Bad Astra, but you also get the Echo skin from completing
Nebula. Is it?
Yeah, maybe that's it.
It could be. Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, it's my favorite, and I love it. But now I want to see what the holiday ones look like on the whole new redesign, because those aren't skins; those are like whole new styles and backgrounds for your character, which is really neat. Definitely very, very neat.
Yes. We talked about this last week on the show, but now we have the man himself here to talk all about a new community challenge. I say as he looks around for the visual, as he looks around trying to figure out who I'm talking about, that cheeky guy. Triple G, tell us all about your new community challenge known as, if I recall correctly, the Endgame Rush.
Yeah, so it's Endgame Rush. It happened completely by accident. So when I started streaming on the Borderlands channel, we used to do what I called Endgame Rush regularly. I would take a build that we created and we would just run through it at a casual kind of pace. GT Shorty was the fastest. Now, this was just for a baseline where I'd be talking to chat or whatever, but 3 hours and 45 minutes. So we just do it at a nice casual pace. About 2 weeks ago, I took Shoulder of Fortune through Endgame Rush and we pushed it and we did 2 hours and 12 minutes. And then I think it was someone in the chat. We were all talking like, you know what? We should do a community challenge. I was like, okay, then. So I set up a very vague set of rules. And I say vague because I didn't know what I was letting myself in for, and just posted it on Twitter. And then I didn't think anything of it. And then I came back to my phone like a couple of hours later, and then all of a sudden I was like, well, what's this? What's this? And it just went out of nowhere. So we had to put some other rules into it. But essentially, it is a speed run where you will take on both the takedowns on True Takedown, the 3 slaughter shafts, and the 6 proving grounds, and you need to do it as fast as possible without skipping any content. And it's been incredible. So there are some very, very familiar names on the board. The builds are really, really diverse. Zane's just broken. I'm a Zane main. Don't change him, Gearbox. He's just broken. I'd let him be broken forever.
On console, it looks like Amara is actually the most popular.
So the console, yes. And I think on that's mainly because she was the most natural mobber before kind of... So the Zane playstyle is fire a rocket launcher at your feet and just let everything die around you, because Gearbox a few weeks ago added a change to duct tape mod in the patch, where duct tape mod would allow you to be the clone to be immune to splash damage, which meant that he couldn't blow himself up with grenades. But that skill transferred to Zane, so he's actually immune to his own rockets. So Garwood, who is leading the board, he has a Plague Bearer, he has a Stinger shield which does a Nova every time he presses his Mantis, so he has a ton of skill. But essentially, he's firing a rocket launcher and he can't die from his own rocket launcher, and everything dies around him. So that's kind of Garwood's build. And there is nobody. He's doing a 19-minute Guardian takedown. 19-minute and a 4-minute Malawan takedown.
4 minutes?
4-minute Malawan takedown.
Oh
How?
my god!
He skips, right?
No
So,
skips.
No skips. So Garwood is a Malawan takedown genius. Like, he knows where every single spawn is. He knows where he's supposed to run. He knows so with the Plague Bearer, those of you who don't know the Plague Bearer, you charge it up, you fire. It'll fire a projectile, which will kind of zoom across the map, and little mini projectiles will come off it and kill ads. So he knows where those spawns are going to be, and then he can pre-fire towards those directions, knowing that they're going to die. Don't even check that they're dead. They're going to die, and then he can move on to the next section. So he kind of flies through, and then he was knocking out the proving grounds in like less than 5 minutes each. So bearing in mind, they're targeted for 20 minutes to get bonus loot. So they were designed to be done in, kind of, I'd say between 15 and 20 minutes would probably be where Gearbox saw them being destroyed. We can do them in about 5 minutes. And the slaughter shafts, assistant and slaughter, they're a little bit difficult. The slaughter star 3000 is so frustrating because you can't speedrun that. So the enemies start up on top ledges and then they drop down and you have to wait for them. So that's probably the longest piece of content in the endgame rush. But like I said, he's firing rockets and novas and killing everything around them. So you basically, it's a minimap stream when you watch Garwood play. So you just watch for the red dots disappear on his minimap. Completely contrasting build from Cheese, who Cheese uses Terror and a Monarch and pure aimbot skill. Like, he kills each individual enemy with his gun, each one with a Monarch, in faster than some people can do with the Novas. Cheese is unreal. And he's got a really interesting strategy when it comes to the crystals on Guardian Takedown. He doesn't kill the enemies, he freezes them. And if you freeze that first wave, no other waves will spawn. So he just keeps freezing them and delaying them and delaying them and delaying them. And he can get through the crystals in like, I think I've seen him, he can get past the first crystals in like 4.5 minutes, which is like incredible timing.
That's insane.
That's insane. That's a
totally
very,
insane.
very, very low time.
So if you haven't cleared that first section before you do the first door, if you haven't done that in under 2 minutes, restart your speed run because, you ain't going to get on the board. and that's how it's got to. So anything now around 2.5 hours is a great time. It's an absolutely fantastic time for Endgame Rush. What you're seeing on the board now and what I consider hyper builds, they are bred specifically for one purpose, and that is to do this task as fast as possible. It's purely as simple as that. And then you have Quag. He's got a fantastic flak build, which basically uses the Psycho Stabber and Novas, and he just stacks up all melee and just fires his rack, and everybody dies around him. And it's really, really good. Thick's got a TDR build, which he just chucks TDRs and then that charges up Groundbreaker, and he then fires Groundbreaker using his Mantis cannon. Everybody dies around him. So you can see the theme of Novas are a big part of what's going on right now. Yeah. There are two that really stand out to me and that are really, really impressive. The first one was Cheese, because like I said, he's literally killing each individual enemy and he does it so fast. Unbelievable. The other one is Lazy Data's Punch Bear.
Yeah.
Now, I still haven't been able, because he's had data issues this week. Ironically, I know. He's not been able to stream. So I would have expected Lazy to be featuring much higher, but he's kind of been unfortunate. But his Punch Bear is so much faster than any other Mo's. I need to see this build. I don't know what he's doing to it.
Yeah.
Because if you notice on that build, he did it on Mayhem 11. So he doesn't have Speed Demon. So he's got a disadvantage when it's come to speed, but he's able to clear faster than some people on M10. So it's been really, really good. And there's been some fantastic kind of stories. Like you said earlier, you've done True Takedown for the first time. Only Asher this week did True Takedown for the first time due to this kind of challenge. So it's pushed people out of their comfort zone. We've had both PC and console players. So Shadows Assassins winning the console. Only Asher led the pretty much the entire time, other than today. He lost his kind of first place there.
No.
But most of the people on console are actually viewers, which I think is really important, because I when this challenge started, it wasn't just about kind of the streamers. It was like, everybody just come and have a go and see what you can do. And so I think it's really nice that we've seen a lot more viewers on console. And I think one of the reasons why we haven't seen that many viewers on PC is because of the differing load times. So if you're a streamer, you've probably got a really good rig, which means you've probably got really short load times. And when load times are included in this, it is add into your time. So one of the things that the next challenge will do, which coming in the new year, is it will be a challenge that is about inclusivity. So there will be direct, specific things that you can do for the casual and then the hardcore player. So everybody can feel included and everybody will be able to compete. So one of the things I've observed from this one is, you look at those times now and you think, bloody hell, 90 minutes. I've got to do it in 90 minutes. And a new player looking at the board and think, I ain't going to do 90 minutes. I'll probably not bother. But the way that I'm going to structure the next one in January is that everybody will have an opportunity to compete and feature on several leaderboards, depending on what category.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love
really
that
awesome.
idea. I can't wait to hear more about that as that continues to develop. Whenever that is, you said sometime early next year, you're thinking about perhaps unveiling this?
I'm aiming to start the challenge on the 2nd of January, and we will release the rules and the structure so people can work on the theory, because you're going to need theory in this one a couple of days before.
Yeah.
I look forward to hearing about that.
We'll maybe be able to tell you more next episode of Bordercast. But yeah, so that sounds like one I'm not good at speedrunning. I want to be. I admire speedrunners so much. And Mitsu and I have both said this, I think, on the last episode, that we're just too ooh, shiny, ooh, pretty, ooh, trash pile. You just get distracted and it's hard.
You want to know how efficient it is? You turn off minimap legendaries just so you can see where the next red dot is. That's how efficient. That's how margins. I saw Quag yesterday practicing, not the game. He was practicing his menu swaps.
Oh my god!
Between the Guardian takedown and the Malawan takedown.
It's incredible. Yeah, it's
what a good egg.
Yeah.
what a pal.
I just think it's so cool that you came up with this, Triple, and the community, that helped you. And it's just such an incredible thing that brings the community together and gives us something really awesome to strive towards. And try to do and share with each other, even though these are obviously solo runs. It's all about trying to kind of compete as a group. And it's really, really cool that you're doing one that's a little bit more inclusive for the less OP among us.
It's quite nice to be able to kind of be a sports commentator on Twitter.
Yeah.
And kind of hype it up.
It's really cool.
It's been fun to do that.
Is really cool. You guys should make sure, by the way, you're following Triple _GZ1 on Twitter, _G on Twitch, because that's where you can learn about all of these cool things and also keep up to date with it.
I believe you can find that information right there. This is me pointing.
Oh yeah, it is underneath my beard right now.
A little bit, yeah.
That way? This way? Never. This way.
Directions are hard.
This way.
Just
Each
directly above your head, basically.
Yeah. Exactly.
That, except for him.
So the leaderboards look absolutely incredible. We have talked a little bit. We hope to have the winners, whoever they wind up being, on future episodes of either End or the Bordercast, as well as Ultimate Vault Hunter, so they can showcase each of the builds that they have and the ridiculous names that they have for it. For example, Garwood's is Spam That Ass. It's ridiculous. We talked about Punch Bear a little bit earlier from Lazy Data. I Love Cheese's Piss Easy. That's my job. My job is to say piss easy. Life is strange, everybody. You never know what twists and turns it might take. So we would love to have all of these different builds represented as best as they possibly can be. And to have more people on. We're always looking to have more people involved in everything that we're doing here on the channel, especially in the new year. And so we're thinking a lot about that kind of stuff, in case anybody was wondering. All right. Gee, this event is incredible. I can't wait to see what the next one especially brings as well. And it looks like you really have like some creative juices flowing. Like maybe this isn't like a one-off or a two-off. Like these events seem to be just something that's like now the spark has been lit and they're coming to you. And I look forward to seeing what other ideas might spring forth from this one accident. It was an accident. You had no idea, and you just turn it into something great.
Yeah. So Endgame Rush will be a seasonal thing, and it will happen after we have new items added to the game, which will basically affect, builds. If there's new items, builds generally get affected. But the next challenge will kind of be a one-off because it requires speed, but mostly your brain and a bit of skill. But I know that there are some other people in the community that want to do challenges. So like do them, feel free to do them. If you want to use me, because people now follow me on Twitter because of it, I will help anybody promote anything that gets the community all together and doing challenges.
What a guy.
Us also definitely go to Triple G, go to Mitsu, go to myself on Twitter at Tess Games, at Mitsu Show. Not in that order. and let us know if you have cool ideas for stuff like this, or if you're running one, or if you're participating in one and you want to show it off. Definitely hit us up because we want to hear about it. It's really, really awesome to see this kind of thing come together on Twitch and just on all the platforms, YouTube, and on Twitter, and just seeing the Borderlands community do cool things and challenge each other. It's really neat.
I'd really like to see what happens if the hunt makes a return one day. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that materializes. I very much missed that event. I missed it last year. I never partake in it, but I always love to kind of like go live. And you were talking about being the sportscaster, Triple G. I would always give the updates on where people's point scores were at and things like that. Where I was just messing around.
I'm still holding out hope that at some point we'll be able to do hide and seek also somehow, because that is just so much fun. There's just so much fun. I want to do that with everybody. Like that's not something that requires it requires some skill, but it's mostly just fun with your friends, right? So, and it's anybody can do it. It doesn't matter what platform you play on. It doesn't matter how you play or anything like that. It's literally just hide and seek in the beautiful Borderlands, which would be so cool. So that's my one big ask for Christmas.
And soon it won't matter what platform you're playing on, literally, because there will be crossplay. So it doesn't matter if your friend is on PS5 and you're on PC playing in the Epic Game Store. You will be able to play with your buds, as it should be.
Yeah,
as it should be.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Maybe someday. We'll see.
Someday, sooner rather than later. Oh boy, we are pressed for time. Triple G, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all about your new event and a little teaser about an event to come that we didn't even see coming. That was a shocker, but I should have expected it. My bad. But yes, again, thank you so much for being here. Season Pass 2 is out now with the designer's cut already out there for people to enjoy, and the director's cut, as Triple G said, there's some little hints and little tidbits about what the direction of the directors will be coming sometime in the spring.
I'm excited.
Triple G, one more time, where can the people find you?
I am now just Triple G on Twitch and YouTube, and GZ1 on Twitter.
Tess?
Right here on the Borderlands channel, and also on my channel at Tessichka. It's just Tessa, CHKA, or Twitter at Tess Games. And Mitsu.
I was going to say, Tess, one more time, what are you going to be doing this evening?
This evening at 9 p.m. Eastern, I'll be streaming on twitch.tv/AMD, just showcasing their awesome hardware that I'm very lucky to have and play Borderlands on. I'll be playing, I don't know, we'll be playing probably either Borderlands or Godfall, or both. But yeah, it'll be there, and we'll be talking about the new hardware. I have some cool details to share with you guys. It'll be a good time. That's tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Twitch.tv/Mitsu. Twitter.com/Mitsu Show. For the first time in a very long time, I went on one of my world famous Twitter tirades, Some people loved it. Nobody seemed to actually not like it. So I guess I did a good job on that one. Sometimes the reviews are a little bit mixed, but I haven't done one like that in years. Yeah. So if you like somebody who just like goes off when things are wrong, that's why you would follow my Twitter. That, and I talk a lot about Katamari Damacy. That's about it. That's it. And Borderlands, of course, because I can't help but retweet and comment on everybody, especially with the event going on. Everything going on. That's cool with that. That's it. That's all I've got.
You guys, thank you so much for joining us. Seriously, we super appreciate Triple G you stopping by. Usually you're streaming around this time. I'm assuming you're going to be streaming after this?
Yeah, I'm going to hit the go live button as soon as we're done.
So I know who we're rating and where you guys should go after this, because he's amazing. And you can ask him if you have more questions about the event, if you just want to, talk his ear off about how happy he is that he beat Psychotic Wolf's time recently. Anything like that, definitely feel free to stop by his channel. And thank you so much for joining us here on the Borderlands channel when we do our daily streams. Myself and Mitsu and Triple G all stream here on twitch.tv/Borderlands. The schedule is posted below. Also, thank you for watching on YouTube and Steam and Facebook. You guys are amazing, and we appreciate you spending time with us very much. And if you're listening to the podcast on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, YouTube Music, and Stitcher, make sure you've got those notifications turned on. And thank you so much for hanging out. The codes for the things we talked about earlier and links to everything will be up in the podcast description also. And you can join us live on Twitch in 2 weeks. Next week, we are taking a day off for the holiday. However, there will be an Ultimate Vault Hunter. But Bordercast comes back next in 2 weeks at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Thursday, the 31st, I believe.
That's right.
Right.
That is in fact right. Mitsu don't work on Christmas. That's kind of my rule. I love Christmas too much. It's my second favorite holiday after my birthday, which is the best holiday of the year. Of course, everybody knows that. The New Year's Eve show, real quick. We didn't talk about it. It's going to be a banger. If you do not know, we are going to have Triple G on once more with Tweety Expert, Chick-fil-A. And exactly. Right? and we're going to have one more guest. We're still working on the backstage to make sure that they are confirmed. It's going to be a 2-hour retrospective of this entire year of Borderlands. And we are going to have a banger of a show. I promise you that.
It'll be a good time.
Tease. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. And we look forward here at the Bordercast to bringing that to all of you. So with all of that said, on behalf of Tess, myself, and the entire content creation team, thank you so much for joining us as you do every single week. Now go forth and make some mayhem.